say that Pepe, in all of his rooms, and other people on this app are being held accountable, and essentially they've tried to do a rebrand themselves or do credibility or reputation management. So I'm just wondering, Dr. Jordan, if you would be willing to come to Chicago to knock on doors with the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover, and I want to do a full rebrand with you. I want to put you in a suit and a tie, maybe a bow tie with some cool glasses, take some photos. I think we could make you the most interesting man in the world, Dr. Jordan.
What? I mean, are you? What purpose am I serving? Rebranding you? What? I don't understand.
No, it's basically a swap, exchange of services. I professionally rebrand you and reproduce the Dr. Jordan show, and you help produce the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover.
Well, I do think you have potential. Like, I mean, you have your alter egos. I mean, you do have potential to be, well, you could do stand up, quite frankly, but. Yeah, I don't.
Well, stand-up's not.
That's a polite decline, John.
Oh, I got it. It's a play. Well, I'm just saying. I'm Dr. Jordan. I'm just saying I could, see the point is I have many friends who when I say show me your Hinge account, show me your Bumble account, and I analyze how they're marketing themselves on a dating profile. That's basically what I'm pointing at is that if you use a third party to produce your show, it looks a lot better than the way you would create it. So for the third party looker who's looking at your publishing, when somebody else does it for you, it's gonna have a much higher, ROI than if you try to do it yourself.
No, I agree. I think the paradox though is that you think people on Clubhouse are wasting their time, whereas you're kind of wasting. Well, my impression is you're wasting your talent a bit because you could be like, with all this time you're doing this recording, you could be right. I mean, you could be pitching stand up. You could be doing stand up work.
No, I think I'm using it the same way that other people are using it in the same ways if we were all in a casino and we were all playing a slot machine. I just happen to be live streaming myself.
What part you missing? Like you are using like other people, but what he's saying and what I agree with, you have a talent that is being wasted. Most people don't have that talent that they're wasting it. Like he's saying, you have a talent that you are wasting, and most people, like I don't have a talent I'm wasting, and most people don't. But I think that's what he's saying that you are doing.
Right.
Well, I just want to push back against one thing. You say that I claim that everybody's wasting their time here. I'm merely trying to play a very subversive game by suggesting that because that's the one-upmanship game. And I'm trying to point that out to people that people are chronically playing the one-upmanship game linguistically. But that's the way I'm playing it. And so what I'm trying to say is...
Let me back up for a second. Let me interrupt just for a moment. So I do this, I've been doing these apps where you meet people in real life because in LA, people are so scattered that there's these in real life, there's this app called Time Left, right? You meet people, you meet total strangers for networking or whatever in real life every week, right? And it just expands my network a little bit because in LA, it's kind of, there's so many people, it's actually hard to just find community, right? And I've lived here 3 times. So my thing is that, like, I still keep coming back to Clubhouse because whether you see it or not, I find really interesting people on Clubhouse. Like, the people that I meet in real life, aside from friends I already have, I mean, there's not, like, there's only a few characters that are really intriguing, and it's funny because in real life people are also guarded, right? Whereas on Clubhouse, you get to know people really fast, and there's chemistry that's built, right? And like that to me is a remarkable thing about social audio. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Well, it's a word game, and so if you like words and you're a wordsmith, you can play a very subversive game on this app because gaslighting becomes an art form and gaslighting becomes the norm. So if you really want to play a far out game linguistically in a safe space and not get punched in the face and have a bloody nose at the end of the night, this is the place for those types of people that like to play that game.
Right, totally. But I think what you're finding is that you're frustrated that maybe the intellect, like you haven't maybe met your intellect on here, and maybe it's frustrating for you.
No. Reading a book here, to me, I realize that after you read so many books, like intellect maxes out, intelligence maxes out. And so it becomes a little bit like an organizing effort versus trying to meet your intellect or to be intellectual, because then it becomes a little bit like poker, liar's poker. So it takes on a bluffing element. And I'm just saying that if you want to achieve some type of if you want to achieve financial success, it is like a gray zone. Is it legal? Is it illegal? Because being in the publishing industry or the filmmaking industry can cause a lot of conflict, and so
Well, let me say this. Maybe you're disappointed. Like, for example, I forgot exactly what. If you like, I appreciate your sarcasm. Some people are some people, like, you've done some things that I didn't like, right? That I didn't appreciate, but I do appreciate your humor. Your sarcasm goes a long way, and people who don't appreciate your sarcasm, regardless of their intellect, will never quite get you, right? So it's like Hakima and I get you. Whether we agree with everything you say may be a different thing, but like the humor, like there's an art for there's to be able to appreciate you takes, maybe it's an acquired taste, right? And like I think you find that you plateau here, you plateau out because you're like
no, there's no plateau in art. It's
know.
infinite. And Moose down there is just a critic. And Moose is, I gotta say, you're kind of a one-trick pony too, Dr. Jordan. So, I mean, I'm gonna toss everything you just said to me back at you now and say you are not changing. You are not dynamic enough. You are not being creative enough. There's an infinite variety of creative aspects to art, and all I'm saying is, even when you're being political, whether it's genuine or whether it's performative, that art. And so
Okay, well, let me say one thing. If I had started out on this app with a pseudonym, I very much could have turned more into I may have adopted your trolling style, because there's a part of me that can be extremely sarcastic and obnoxious, right? And I just don't, first of all, I'm trying to move away from that in my spiritual journey. Don't smile. And so for me, like, I don't do that because I'm using my real information, etc., and I'm trying to be pretty authentic. So, but I could totally see that had I adopted a pseudonym, I could be more in your place. And
well, it's not about me, it's about your self-development, because a lot of people who like to present themselves as being the authority or being credible are still always working on self-development, because ego is superficial no matter how you define it. So let me ask you a question. Is the ego superficial?
well, of course, but I also don't. I'm not an expert. I don't think of myself as an expert in any way. Did I spend a lot of time getting educated in certain fields? Yeah, but unfortunately, that's been what's the word? There's a distortion in how people see me versus how I see myself. Anyone who started out in this app using credentials was kind of targeted, and maybe that was a mistake. But I really take it in, I really don't take myself that seriously. But
Well, you should take yourself seriously. Everybody, the thing is, everyone can be everything if they want to be. Meaning, you can be a comedian, you can be a lawyer, you can be a dentist, you can be a heart surgeon. You can take on any role in society. I'm just saying that on Clubhouse, especially if it's anonymous, you do have the freedom to be truly creative. And I think people
well,
do, fulfill that desire on this app.
so for the benefit of the group, the room, why don't you tell people maybe define id, super ego, and ego, because it would even help me to hear your perspective on it.
Well, it's all the biggest ego trip going is thinking that you have an ego. There is no ego. There is no id and there is no superego. Those are all concepts. The material objective world is your cell phone and your house and your clothing and your food supply. That's reality, not this word game that we play, which we take so literally. You can go to a movie theater and your brain runs what you're watching as if it's real, as if you're really experiencing it. That's the power of the visual medium of movies and films.
Have you read the book The Untethered Soul?
Are you projecting? No, I've never read it.
No. I'm reading it now, but it's what you're talking about. Go ahead, sorry. I mean, I think that, I think you are an untapped, I think you are an untapped comical genius. I don't want to say you're spinning your wheels, but you might elevate your,
Well, what? Don't just tell me, show me. Be my producer. Be my talent agent. Fulfill
Right,
your
well,
role.
I will pitch you to some comic, shows in Chicago, if you want to.
Pitch me as Congressman John. That's my shtick. He's a congressman.
Okay. It's actually pretty funny. Yeah, I will. I'll send you a contract.
I will wear a suit. I'll put a little American flag on my lapel. I'll wear my American Legion, cap, and I will do the most outrageous congressman shtick you've ever seen. People will say, you know
Well,
what?
why don't you call yourself MAGA John? Like, maybe a rebranding requires. I mean, Congressman John is funny, but you'll get more edge with, like, maybe you use a couple, right? Congressman John, MAGA John. See what? Not that you're MAGA, but you're poking fun at it. So
Yeah, I mean,
there's some
yeah.
self-deprecation.
Yeah, I mean, I think wearing a suit and wearing a MAGA hat and doing stand-up comedy is the shtick. So, if you can pitch me, I've got a lot of videos on YouTube of me wearing a MAGA hat, and so the cool thing about YouTube is whenever I think that there's a good time, it's called clips. So when you're live, you create a 49, 59-second clip now. They lowered it from 5 minutes to 3 minutes down to 49 seconds now. So it creates it as a short on YouTube, and I have thousands of these new shorts from the past 2 weeks. Let me send you,
Okay.
just click my
So
profile. Yeah, click my profile and view some YouTube links later.
If I put your podcast on I gotta put you on IMDb. So what I need to do is put you on IMDb, which I can do. We can talk about this, but put you on IMDb. Then you've got to upload your content. So you create a bit of a reel, so that we can send that out. And I gotta figure out how to. So you'll want to have a biography where you have like so and so John Kitover goes under the pseudonym Congressman John or whatever. But remember, you're going to be attached to that for a while because it's not easy to change your bio on these things. So, but this is one way to start promoting you.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's do that. I'll get the IMDb page going if I can, or if I have to be connected to you because you're the pro or whatever it is.
Well, have you been on podcasts or do you?
I was.
Have you been on your own?
I was just on a good one. It's called the Prairie Report, and it's in my profile. Click on my profile, click my links, and then at the bottom it says 45-minute podcast with John Kitover. That's my first official press for the campaign.
Okay, I'll look at it.
It's a 45-minute interview where I talk about.
Who's the host?
His name is George Deinhardt.
Okay.
He's got a newspaper in Illinois called the Prairie Report.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
He has no subscribers on YouTube, and he just republished the second version of our interview, and he just labeled it Kitover. I don't know. He's probably working on it.
Well, he doesn't really need prescribers, but he does need. He doesn't need subscribers, but he does need at least a couple episodes to a podcast series.
He's a new YouTuber, but my point is he conducted a professional interview with me for an hour, and then he removed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, he removed all of the filler words. I don't know how he did it, but he used Zoom, and so there might be a functionality in Zoom to remove all the uhs and ahs and I think and and all the filler words.
Okay.
But it's a very good compression of my political opinions and philosophical economic opinions. So I thought it was a very good piece for me. That it was a long form Q&A with me where I got to be political because it's a political video about attacking Darren LaHood and defeating Darren LaHood. So
what I do think is that the parody, the satire, like there's something really there for you as a brand to there's never been a better time to kind of make fun of politicians. So and the ambiguity that's created by people not knowing if you're serious or not about running for office is kind of also interesting.
Yeah, it is a double entendre or even a triple entendre. Because the thing is, I have my own catalog and library now, like 20,000 YouTube videos, 20,000 Instagram videos, 200,000 X posts. Like I have a lot of, you call it baggage, platforms with a lot of content. So if you just
the thing is for the pitching purposes, your content needs to be like a reel. We need to take highlights. So because these people aren't gonna. This is what I tell all my clients is that the booking producers don't dive very deep. They Google someone, they want to see how prominently they come up. Like for example, they generate a Google Knowledge panel or an IMDb or Wikipedia pops up, and they kind of want to they're not diving deep enough, unfortunately. So is even though you have all this content, which is great, you really we need to that can be used later, but for the getting your foot in the door is something that really sells.
Yeah, I get it.
Really,
it's a crapshoot, and time is limited. I mean, look at Phil Hartman from Saturday Night Live. Where is he? Where's Patrick Swayze? I'm saying we got time limits for success in terms of show business. So I would just encourage you to go to YouTube and type in Dr. Jordan Shaw Clubhouse and see what you find, and let me know what you think.
Well, I hope you would. Maybe the trade-off is that you remove that content or remove my tag.
Well, you can get whatever you want removed by complaining, and I would be happy to remove any keywords. So the problem is I'd have to do that work. But what I'm asking for you to do is say, hey, John, here's my cell phone number, or you text me and tell me what you want removed or changed. And my telephone number is, I could put it in
Okay.
the chat, but
Okay.
oh, let me
All right.
message to, let me
No.
just
Well,
message to, or mess,
I'm
yeah,
driving right now. But we can talk later.
yeah. I'm gonna text you my cell phone, and so when we have time to actually delete or change whatever videos I have of you from Clubhouse that you want removed and changed, because I'm more than happy
Okay.
to delete them, or I would prefer to just change the title so it's not associated with you, because I like
Yeah,
if
that's fine.
if you like the historical aspect of the work. But yeah, let me because I want to help with your reputation management, and I hope that you want to help me
Okay.
with my reputation management.
Okay.
So Moose has returned. Moose is a liberal Democrat cuck. He's easily triggered. He
Not too
creates,
much on Moose.
well, he creates John Kitover struggle session rooms. So I just hope he could come up and maybe center me a little bit, because I do like the John
Oh
Kitover
my
struggle session
goodness.
rooms. I hate to say
You're
that
an attention whore.
maybe I'm an attention whore. Maybe I'm susceptible to
You're an attention.
flattery. But this is the fun thing about this
I
app.
like Moose.
I know.
I like
I'm
Moose.
just trying to create some controversy with him, not with you, though. Serendipity.
Moose is good people.
Well, he says a lot of negative things about the campaign. I wasn't allowed to respond to him yesterday. I'm hoping now maybe I could get my responses in. But if he's too cowardly of a man and he only likes to talk his shit when he can't be talked back to, I understand. That's what cowards do.
The other thing that you could assemble is that there are some really obviously quirky people on the app that might be good sidekicks for you, right? Like maybe you don't
Like
need.
Moose?
Well, Moose is interesting. I don't know that Moose wants to be a sidekick, but okay. Like for example, Agent, or Kyle. I mean, or Jason Dusick. I mean,
No,
they
no,
get
no,
these
no. Listen, Mojo was going to set up an interview with Lou Fax. Those types of Q&As would be interesting, because I'm not going to troll. I'm going to be very professional in the communication. So I'm not going to be insulting, degrading, or even controversial in any kind of interviews with anybody who has an audience. I mean, I just want to stick to the facts. But, Moose doesn't stick to the facts. He slanders me, he libels me, he defames me. Moose, how do you defend yourself?
Actually, John, you know what? I was a little heated yesterday, and I owe you an apology. It is not for me. I called you a fraud. That is not for me to say, to make that judgment. If you are actually running for Congress, cool. If you're not, cool. At the end of the day, what I took issue was with someone who might be running for Congress and then recording 600 rooms on Clubhouse. It just doesn't seem like the best, use of one's time, considering the amount of time and energy and resources, I'm sure that is required to run for such a high office. So that's a legit apology. It's not. I was out of pocket to call you a fraud. That is not for me to say. It is. You're incredibly irritating, and I do think you center yourself a wee bit too much. Hey, it's Clubhouse. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, if this is just there's several people out here saying that you've officially declared this whole campaign as a troll. Cool. I'm just saying at the end of the day, I would just suggest looking into what is really the reason. It doesn't sound like you're monetizing. Like, what is the burning desire to record so many rooms and then replay them on YouTube? That's a legit question.
Because it costs me nothing to do. It's artwork. And I'm an artist, a filmmaker, a videographer, a politician, a patriot, and I'm an American. And you're just an old junky payphone.
Hey, now, Moose came up here and Did he took the bigger road. He apologized. I mean,
Yeah, and he followed it up with an insult. It wasn't a genuine apology. He said, but you're a troll and you're a loser and you suck. That's what he said. It's an insincere apology. And I'm just going to say, you're nothing but an old junkie payphone.
We don't get to dictate how people apologize. And some are certainly better at it than others. But you know what? Moose made a good
Mojo the Clown has feelings too. Mojo the Clown, when you prick Mojo, he bleeds. When you make fun of Mojo, he cries. Mojo is a man. Now you're punching back, Moose. If you keep harassing the campaign, I'll be forced to take legal action against you in the same way I've been forced to take legal action against others. You hate me? You hate me because I'm on television.
Who's lesser of a man? You're going into your alter ego here. It's just wild. I'm good. Everyone's heard it. I'm good.
You're just a junkie payphone, and Mojo the Clown has feelings, Moose.
Moose is good people.
Well, you were correct that one candidate who wanted to do the signature circulation for the petitions, I did want to tell him immediately, FYI, before we proceed, this phone call is being recorded. And it took me, I don't know, minute, 2 minutes, whatever, to get to that point. But that's because I didn't want to interrupt, but I agree that was an F up of the campaign. But, we have moved on because he texted us that everybody here is spamming and wasting time, and he declined to do any work. But I will tell you that I think I am going to absolutely have to myself go to Rockford and Peoria and get a lot of signatures over the next couple weeks. So it's a drive, from Chicago to Peoria is a drive, and I'm, going to get a cheap motel and get signatures. But before I drive out there, I have signs that have been printed up thanking all the Clubhouse donors using their profile names, not their real legal names. So there's another artistic element to this campaign. Signs, business cards, flyers, and flags as we go on the road to get the signatures to defeat Darren LaHood.
Is the guy that you interviewed for the job from Craigslist, is he helping you out? Is he working with you?
No, he moved on to another campaign. That's the greatest thing about working with the campaign, is that if wherever we depart, because every relationship has a beginning and an end, most people go on to bigger and better things once they work with Mojo the Clown.
So he's helping LaHood.
I'm not sure. A lot of people are working with LaHood because they understand what my campaign is about, and they want to keep kicking the can down the road and printing $2 trillion a year that they shouldn't be otherwise allowed to. If we had a fair and budget balanced act and we weren't spending $2 trillion a year that we don't collect, this is exactly why they want me to shut up, because they want to keep the skim, they want to keep the inflation, and they want to keep scamming us. This is your debt. This is your tax. You're going to have to pay it back. I'm trying to prevent people from giving you unassumed liabilities that you didn't vote for. That's what my campaign is pushing. A lot of people don't think the budget is an interesting thing or the deficit is an interesting thing. To me, it's the only thing that matters because it's perpetuating all of this bullshit. So stop the skim, stop the scam, crush the can. You're just an old payphone, though. What do you know, Moose?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to get repaired. I think a high school teacher brought in like a payphone or parts of a payphone to her class, and nobody in the classroom knew what it was.
Well, in the muff, using your fingers in a swirling fashion and sticking it in a hole is a requisite.
Yeah, it's true. The mechanics of the payphone do seem quite conducive to in the muff.
Most people are unaware, though, of just how much bacteria there is when you put the headset next to your face.
The headset of the muff or the phone?
The phone. In the muff.
Can you make a long distance call in the muff?
Let's find out. Operator. Yes, this is in the muff operator. I'd like to make a collect call to serendipity.
Looks like she's not accepting the charges, John. Try again.
Operator.
And
Try Yakima.
Paging Dr. Beeper. I think that's from Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. There's like a scene where he was like playing a doctor. Paging Dr. Beeper. It's also from Caddyshack. All right, so this has been Rough, Thick, Poetic, Tantric, Puffy Muff. If many of you are unaware of what Puffy Muff in the muff is, it's thick, it's poetic, it's tantric. Sometimes it's rough. Okay, now that this room is winding down, we're going to help relax the room by reading some Bible flashcards in the muff. Here we go. Here are your random Bible flashcards for the day.
Yakima.
Whoever exalts himself will be humbled. Whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. Don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what the day will bring. For you, O Lord, are my hope, my trust, O Lord, from my youth. Be strong and courageous, all you who put your hope in the Lord. I will both lie down in peace and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. God saved us, not because of the righteous things we had done, but because of his mercy. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all you who hope in the Lord. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Know that wisdom is such to your soul. If you find it, there will be a future, and your hope will not be cut off. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Be happy, yes, leap for joy, for a great reward awaits you in the muff. Anything is possible if a person believes. Go in peace into the muff. My Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. The steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. It is not that we think we are qualified to do anything on our own. Our qualification comes from God. Faithful servant, you have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Here's what I want you to do. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life on Clown House, and place it before God as an offering in the muff. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for him in the muff. May the Lord of peace himself give you his peace at all times and in every situation. The Lord be with you. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. That's what I call an in the muff takeover. All right, everybody, that's been another exciting episode of Clown House.
Speaking of math, I do want to ask about a New York Times investigation showing that Democrats are losing registered voters in all 30 states that track party registration. We're putting on the screen the data. It shows altogether Democrats have lost 2.1 million voters. Republicans have gained 2.4 million. That's a deficit that you have of 4.5 million voters. Why are voters turning away from your party? What is the problem?
Most of that activity, as I understand it, has occurred in Florida and Texas. And certainly it is the case that nationally we're going to have to invest more in these two red states. At the end of the day, it's also going to be important for us to continue to make clear to the American people what we stand for as Democrats. We believe in a strong floor and no ceiling. In this country, you work hard, you play by the rules. There should be no ceiling as to what success you can accomplish for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, and your community. At the same period of time, we do, as Democrats, believe in a strong floor. That's a strong floor that is anchored in Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, veterans benefits, nutritional assistance, and the Affordable Care Act. The things that Republicans are actually trying to detonate. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. And the more we can lean into what we stand for as a party, the better off we'll be moving forward.
There is new reporting this morning that President Trump has a detailed plan. It's been in the works for weeks, apparently, to send National Guard troops into Chicago. What is your plan as the Democratic leader in the House to fight that?
Well, I strongly support the statement that was issued. Governor Pritzker, making clear that one, there's no basis, no authority for Donald Trump to potentially try to drop federal troops into the city of Chicago. There's been no request from the state of Illinois, no request at all for federal assistance. I support the Chicago Police Department. I support the New York Police Department. These are men and women who have taken an oath to protect and serve these communities, and they do a great job of that. And we should continue to support local law enforcement and not simply allow Donald Trump to play games with the lives of the American people as part of his effort to manufacture a crisis and create a distraction, because he's deeply unpopular. The one big ugly bill is deeply unpopular. Ripping health care away from millions of Americans is unpopular. Enacting tax breaks for their billionaire donors is deeply unpopular. And that's why a lot of this is taking place, Donna.
Do you think it's manufactured that Americans, even likely in the city of Chicago, are worried about crime?
Of course, people are going to be worried about public safety all across America. I represent a community that for decades has had to deal with the crack cocaine epidemic, the failed war on drugs, gunshots going off at different points in time in communities. So, of course, all of us will continue to focus on making sure we can drive down crime whenever and wherever it is taking place. This is not about the American people. The American people understandably want safer communities. As Democrats, we want safer communities. We want to continue to make sure that crime can go down as it's doing in Chicago, in New York, in Washington, D.C., and other places. And to do that, we should support local law enforcement. We should make sure that the flood of guns into these communities is cut off.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. Y'all get the gist of it. He already talked about this shit. Hey, Dragon, how you doing, babes?
Hey, good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hey,
Well,
y'all get the gist of it.
I wish he had that same energy that he has for the police, for the gerrymander. He really woke up, really, sat up straight when he started talking about police. But when it comes to racist gerrymandering, you're kind of like, I guess we'll just wait and see. I guess we'll just respond.
Kalichi said I'm a cheapskate. I don't have
I'm sorry, who's the guy? Who's the guy that was speaking? I really enjoyed that.
It's Hakeem Jeffries. He's the minority leader in the House.
Yeah, he really did it for me. I mean, I was going to ask what is, he said we have a strong floor, no ceiling, or something like that. I was going to ask what was that then. He just explained it perfectly. He's really good. He's a really good speaker. I like that. I like people that know.
So y'all know J.D. Vance was interviewed on Meet the Press.
Yeah, one thing I didn't like is that part where he said we're gonna respond when necessary or in kind to what they see. That's the playing defense that we mentioned earlier. It's playing the defense, not offense.
Well, Donald Trump, like Donald Trump is the will to a lot of power. People tell Trump is and Trump has no. I said this before Trump got in. I said Trump is not. He's going to try to do a third term. I said this to it that people like because he said it. It's not like I'm not saying. I'm not predicting anything. Trump said it. I don't know if you guys don't pay attention. People don't pay attention. He said don't worry guys. You just got to go vote this time, and you won't have to vote again. We'll fix it nicely. You never have to vote again. Trump is not trying. Why do you think he idolizes Putin? Rolled out a red carpet for Putin and everything. Although I like Putin personally, but based on international business, according to international law, he's wanted. There's a warrant for his arrest, and he's in the cold. Trump brought him in, gave him a red carpet, everything because he idolizes Putin. Putin rules Russia the way Trump would like to rule America. That's why he Putin is like his role model. He watched him. He's like, oh man, this guy is very good. That's exactly how you like to rule America with the iron fist. No challenging, nobody. Just do what you want. Unfortunately for him, America has got too many safeguards. So actually, and I think Trump has done I think he's done a lot of things that you would have thought would be impossible in America. But right now, he can pardon himself basically. Was it Supreme Court or whatever has said he can pardon. So Trump has done some things that you never think would happen. America is not a democracy, really. Right now, you guys are an oligarchy. You're even worse than Russia. The 4 richest guys in America is richer than the rest of you. Everyone else, that's crazy. That's not a democracy. That's an oligarchy.
Yeah. Dragon, you have
It's even worse than Russia. Sorry?
His approval rating's never been lower, though. That's the reason why he's like, well, let me fuck up everything else you have going for you. Because you're right, he does idolize Putin. He does want to be an oligarch. But that's the whole point. And we've seen him get away with some goofy shit desperately, the alligator Alcatraz, but we're also seeing it get pushed the fuck back and pushing his dick in with lawsuits and saying you got to shut it down in 60 days. So I think we just need to maintain momentum, maintain our focus, bring it to the Supreme Court as soon as possible. Consolidate these. There's over 30 lawsuits right now in America about this gerrymandering, racial discrimination.
The thing is, will those lawsuits even come to fruition before the midterms? Because the time is running out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. You guys just answering all my questions before I ask.
It has to go to the Supreme Court.
Go ahead, Dragon.
I have to look.
Yeah, a couple of comments. I haven't been in here for a while. I always miss it. One is, I think we have to understand that there are some pretty serious splits in the MAGA coalition right now, especially about putting federal law enforcement into states. I think it's a distinctive minority of MAGA, but I think there are definitely some pretty loud voices out there questioning, saying, I thought we were the states' rights party. I thought we were a small government party. And, they see what Trump is doing and it worries them, frankly. The other thing is this Epstein file, debacle. They are very, very, some of them upset about that. And my first comment is we need to be able to reach out to those folks and talk about these things and say, well, don't you think weren't you that party of small government? I mean, don't you think that states should, have some autonomy? And once they get into that land, they start, so that's one comment. On Hakeem, I think the problem is, I think both parties have been totally corrupted. And you heard him, we got to invest more in these red states. Well, who are they going to get it from? From billionaires. And, the reason the Democratic Party is bleeding support is not, that people like me think we should cut Medicare more or at all, no. But because we see that the party has been kind of taken over by billionaires, and that it doesn't reflect, what I thought the Democratic Party was about. So, I think that there has to be a real reckoning about campaign finance, about gerrymandering, all these things which have been festering for decades. I'll land there for the moment.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, the things people are saying, like, sorry, I'm not in America, so I'm giving an outsider's perspective, if you like it. Well, I like hearing and learning what's going on, but it's crazy. It's how, anyway, politicians are crazy. They just like power. Otherwise, Trump is not even really. Would you want Trump to represent you? He's not. I guess what I'm saying is they'll rather have, even if Trump is not a real Republican, they'd rather have him in power than be out of power. Because having Trump there really following their script. He seems to follow his own script. I don't understand why Trump is bulletproof somehow. He seems to be able to do anything and get away with it somehow. Anything that some other... I mean, Obama got hit for wearing like a tan suit or something. It was all over the place. And he literally said he can shoot someone in the middle of the day and get away with it. And I believe him.
Well, that's your first issue. You believe him. Because everything he says is a fucking lie.
Holy shit.
I heard what you said. What I'm saying is everything he says is a fucking lie.
Yeah, everything is a lie, but I believe he can shoot someone and get away with it. In broad daylight in America. Trump can. He definitely can. I mean, he can literally pardon himself. Come on, what are you talking about? The courts have agreed he can pardon himself of any crime, so he can do what he's like and he'll just pardon himself. I mean, the courts have. You've gone to the highest court in the land and said, yeah, he can pardon himself. So he can do whatever he likes, really, you know. Yeah. The only thing he can do executive orders and people can sue and try to overturn things, so it's just going to be annoying. It's not going to stick. That's what pisses him off. That's what pisses him off because he wants to be able to, like, just rule with impunity and have no one challenging it. You guys are messing up his dream. You're fucking up Trump's dream, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like any other nation on earth, so we should fuck his dream up.
Hello, my name is George Dean here. Welcome to Politics on the Prairie.
You can't sleep on the wheel because if you do, man, Trump is gonna be a dictator. You can't sleep for a second because Trump is good. If you give him an inch, he'll take a bow. So you gotta be like, you need offense indeed, not defense, because you can't be asleep on the wheel. Trump, if he's good, he doesn't have good plans for you guys. Just put it that way. Trump does not have good plans for America.
I agree with that part. Yep, we got to be on the offense here on out.
I wouldn't even visit America since Trump got in because normally I come to America twice a year. Like I love New York. I go to I'm from London, so I love London and New York. Sister brother city. So I go to New York, then I have a sister in Houston. So I go twice a year, go to Houston once, then New York, Houston. But since Trump is there, I'm like never that. When he leaves, if he leaves, then I can start coming back. But now, man, can't do Trump, man. I feel like I've been risking my life. I could get shot. Has he talked about giving them the police immunity. Has he done that yet?
In the war, of course, they haven't been completely there yet, or the war would be over, but we're engaging in this diplomatic process in good faith. We are trying to negotiate as much as we can with both the Russians and the Ukrainians to find a middle ground to stop the killing. I think what the president has tried to do here is try to engage in very aggressive, very energetic diplomacy because this war is not in anyone's interest. It's not in Europe or the United States' interest. We don't think it's in Russia or Ukraine's interest to keep going. So we're going to keep on pushing for a diplomatic solution. And one final point about this, Kristen, if you look historically, whenever you have a complicated war with a lot of death and destruction, it kind of goes in fits and starts. There are hills and valleys to the negotiation. We sometimes feel like we've made great progress with the Russians, and sometimes, as the president has said, he's been very frustrated with the Russians. And we're going to keep on doing what we have to do to bring this thing to a close. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think that we're going to continue to make progress, but ultimately, whether the killing stops, that determination is going to belong to whether the Russians and the Ukrainians can actually find some middle ground here.
Well, you talk about concessions, and yet the Russians rejected the ceasefire proposal that President Trump put forward. There's no meeting plan between President Putin and President Zelensky. And this week, Russia targeted an American factory in Ukraine. There were 600 people inside at the time. No one was killed. What makes you think President Putin is serious about peace?
Well, I didn't say they conceded on everything, but what they have conceded is the recognition that Ukraine will have territorial integrity after the war. They've recognized that they're not going to be able to install a puppet regime in Kiev. That was, of course, a major demand at the beginning. And importantly, they've acknowledged that there is going to be some security guarantee to the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Again, have they made every concession? Of course they haven't. Should they have started the war? Of course they haven't. But we're making progress, Kristen. And what I admire about the president in this moment is he's not asking 3.5 years ago, he's not, trying to focus on every nitpicky detail of how this thing started 3.5 years ago. He's trying to focus on the nitpicky details of now, of what do the parties disagree on, what do they agree on, and how do you build a foundation from one side of that ledger to the other so you can stop the killing.
But was President Trump, were you enraged when you learned that Russia targeted an American company based in Ukraine?
I don't like it, Kristen, but this is a war, and this is why we want to stop the killing. The Russians have done a lot of things that we don't like. A lot of civilians have died. We've condemned that stuff from the get-go, and frankly, President Trump has done more to apply pressure and to apply economic leverage to the Russians, certainly than Joe Biden did for 3.5 years when he did nothing but talk, but do nothing to bring the killing to a stop. So you ask me what I'm enraged by. What I'm enraged by is the continuation of the war.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on pause. This is 7 minutes. Any comments? This nigga is a fucking idiot, yo.
Embarrassment, Patties. It's like straight fucking lies. Like,
Yeah.
the world don't believe this shit.
His deflection goes always goes to Biden if he gets cornered on a question. I love this reporter, how she it's very rare nowadays that we see her go through the hard questions and not get insulted like by Trump or by somebody else before they answer the question. So I appreciate that, but he always deflects to Biden. It's like we're doing things that Biden wasn't doing, or we're not doing it the Biden way. That's like they want to get that soundbite.
This is ridiculous. This dude sat here and said that Russia, as if Russia was down with fucking giving them back territory. No, Russia was going to let them maintain certain parts of their own territory. They wanted the Eastern Bloc. Like, what is it? This dude is really retarded. And you know what he's doing because fucking MAGA as well.
Dude, he didn't even show any remorse when she talked about the American factory that got destroyed. He's like, I'm not really worried about that.
What the fuck is going on here? It's part of war.
I bet you find out, like, research the owner of that factory is probably a opponent of Trump. That's probably why they don't give a fuck about it.
Did you hear J.D. Vance answer those questions? He said nothing. He spent, the interview, basically, it was just, basically they just go, they don't even say anything. He's like, it's like, we have to let them fight it out. They said nothing. It is so, humiliating, and it is an embarrassment to the United States of America that this is going on right now, and I think that other countries are getting angry, and I would be furious if I was Europe.
Yeah, I agree.
We shouldn't be worried about that anyway. We should be worried about the United States of America, period.
I think that we should be worried, to be quite frank.
Why?
Because, I think a couple reasons. Because, it's kind of the idea of, everyone thinks, people that actually have, when you have a country that has done so well, a lot of countries, they don't like what has happened to America. You don't think that's going to come back? Other countries are not, other people, organizations are not going to want to attack us? That's the reality, is that we are not, our economy is based on helping other countries out as well. So the idea that this is not going to come bite us in the ass literally is, I
wasn't never for helping other countries because we need to help ourselves first before we help other countries. We're going through a lot of stuff right now.
I understand that, but you have to understand the reason we've helped other countries out is the reason we have stayed safe. We have not had in America because we've never experienced it on our land.
I mean, we had 9/11 though. We had 9/11.
Steve, pause. Let Bruce go, and then when he's done, go.
No. Go, let her go. No, I'm just listening. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think there's an element of that. I think this administration is relying on a lot of ignorant Americans to think that he's not looking after the American people, though. So that's the whole. That's
all American fuck you. All American
you have
fuck
to
you.
look after the people first.
God bless India.
He's looking
all
after
American fuck you. All American fuck you. God bless India. Motherfucker Americans.
God bless you, Mafia.
Motherfucker Americans.
God bless you.
तुम लोग हिंदी का बच्चा?
God bless you.
सब हिंदी का बच्चा?
God bless
Come
you.
to India, Habibi. Fuck you, America.
God bless you. God bless you, Mafia.
Motherfucker Americans.
Patty, can you get rid of Mafia? Thank you. So the reason why I came up on the stage because oh my God. So the reason why we are in the middle of this, just like other European countries, is because what happens in this war definitely affects America. At the end of the day, Ukraine has resources that they sell to other countries, grains and other various things like that. And so this war affects that. And if it affects Europe and Africa, it affects the United States of America. You just can't let random wars like that go on, especially in a nation that is rich in resources that other countries use, which is going to spill over to America. Like, you just can't do that. At the same time, Russia also sells oil to various other countries. This puts, when you put oil at risk, right, you're basically fucking up the world again. So this war is not something that we could just not pay attention to, not be involved with. We have to be involved with it because it affects us at some point. Not some point, it does affect us, just like it affects Europe in general. Like, we got to stop this BS about not stepping in.
Right, and Bruce, you got to think about this. Foreign aid is like an investment. It's not like we're just giving away money. Just think of it like as venture capital, right? So, like, when we help another country,
I'm sorry, guys. You know what? Y'all made some good points, but I think America just needs to stop the business.
This is not about good points, Bruce. This is real life.
Look, okay, we're not arguing.
Okay, I'm tired of arguing.
Other people business because we want to expand our trade, right? How do we protect the supply chain?
I mean, I'm about to buy some land. I don't care. America do what the fuck America wants to do. I don't care no more. I'm being politics for long.
Yeah, go buy land in another country.
Don't buy land in America. And nobody's gonna just step in my land. This is gonna be my shit.
Yeah, you should.
I'm getting investors and stuff like that. I'm buying 100, 200 acres, and people just gonna leave me the fuck alone, dude. Because
so somebody that's gonna invest in some land just so you can stay on that land by yourself, and there's no money.
No, it's the investors and all that gonna be in there. The whole thing is, I don't want people like Royal. I don't want people like that just want to get in other people's business. I don't care about this. That's the whole thing about politics. We really need to stop in other countries' shit and let they handle the shit.
Dude, you have no clue.
Okay, that's enough, yeah.
Hold on.
See, there you go. You have no clue. There you go.
So I don't know. I have no clue.
I mean, seriously.
Hold on.
Because all right. Because the whole fucking thing is when we get in their shit, they're gonna get in our shit. And that's the whole fucking point. United States of America, we, oh my God, we can't even take care of our own people right now. There's so many homeless people and shit like that and everything. Like, calm down. Like, relax a little bit. Like, let's get our shit together first.
I have a question. Does every dollar we spend now help us from sending troops later? Does it decrease the likelihood of us sending troops later?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other things we need to factor in.
Because I'm spending money on
on a lot of bullshit. Like my tax, mine alone is spending a lot. I'm not doing it anymore. Like, I'm not doing it. So this is on you guys.
Countries, just think of it as strategic self.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not spending no more money on armed fucking, guns and shit like that. I'm not doing that shit anymore.
That you just talking about. Like, how do you think we keep the U.S. dollar dominant, right? So I don't.
It's not dominant. Europeans kept the dominant dollar. We don't have the dominant dollar anymore.
We do. It's still in the currency that's traded.
I mean, we really don't. I mean, you do research.
It is the world's currency, so.
We're just well known. Like they accept our dollars. They accept American.
Dude, our dollar is the world currency.
Why you gotta scream?
Our dollar is world currency. That's how countries trade money, is based on the dollar. Do you understand that? Go research it. Read about it. Because you don't know.
Go to Africa and find out.
Tolerated, we tolerate.
Water, cut it out. We're not talking about toleration. We're just talking about.
Go to Africa and find out. Go to Africa and find out.
Ain't no goddamn. This ain't no mush.
Go to Africa and find out.
All right, let's do this as an example. Let's say we do only invest in within our borders domestically and do nothing foreign, right? What's gonna prevent like some dominant force on the outside gaining enough power and then just fucking wiping us out?
Oh, we wouldn't be like that if we fucking did that. Like, come on, y'all.
No, it would never happen if we looked out for ourselves.
No more partnership.
We looked out for. Listen. My mom used to always tell me, like, dude, look out. Take care of yourself first, and then you'll be able to take care of others. We're not doing that in America, so we're not taking care of us. So I mean, come on, man. Let's take care of America first, and deal with that, and then when we dominate, America's taking care of. Right? Yeah, we'll help people out and shit like that.
It'll be too late, Bruce.
So what you saying is, we need to suffer to help other countries out so they can help us out, right?
At the same
That's what you're
time.
saying.
Foreign aid is less than 1% of our fucking budget. What's going on here, Bruce?
Nigga, we make money. We make money all the time. Do y'all really believe that we don't make fucking money? We all the money. We make money. We have to.
All right.
Oh my God! Come on. Okay, you know what, y'all?
Yeah, this is.
I gotta calm down. Calm down.
Yeah. No idea.
Yeah, let's listen to Patty, please.
It's like basically paying your insurance, bro. It's paying for the insurance out of all of your income. You're putting 1% out to protect the rest. That's what it is.
We're not paying 1%. We're paying 50%.
We're
not even worried about ourselves. You know how many people are dying in America and shit like that? Do you know how many homeless? Do you know how
out of an annual U.S. budget of
seriously,
trillion?
y'all worried about fucking the other countries?
Wait, let's look at the facts. Let's look at the facts. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was gonna say, look, like it's 1% of $6.7 trillion. If you really wanted to like tackle the biggest drivers, the three biggest drivers are Social Security, disability, and care, then the interest on the debt, then the military. Those are the three largest expenditures in the federal budget, right? Bruce, I get what you're saying. You want the country to be taken care of, but here's the problem with being the top dog. If you abdicate that slot,
we're not the top dog.
Yes, we are. Actually, unquestionably, the United States is the top dog.
No, we're not.
We may be living in a multipolar world, but we are still the strongest superpower on the planet. The point you're making,
no, we're not.
Take care of our. The point, yes.
No, we're not.
What superpower is stronger than us?
Let him finish. Let him land. You can go.
Yeah. All I was gonna say was like I can understand You want the country taken care of. But if you're trying to like balance the country on the back of foreign aid, you're essentially using a red herring. Like, foreign aid is simply not a ton of money. And if you're saying it's 50%, then I can almost guarantee you have never looked at a federal budget. If you are interested, there are two sources for it. The CBO, or the Congressional Budget Office, which is Congress's budgeting arm, or the Office of Management and Budget, which is the White House's budgeting arm. Each of those places provide graphs, line item budgets, so that you can look at what the U.S. government actually spends. Because this impression that foreign aid makes it 50% of our spending is simply not true and not borne out by what we actually spend and what Congress actually appropriates.
I just want you all to know, make sure you be aware of like who's actually maybe getting, that works for the administration's party, is getting endorsed to speak for them. That's all I want you all to see in Clubhouse.
That's crazy, dude. I can't. Let the white man speak. He knows everything.
This is common knowledge, Bruce. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is
cool knowledge.
Oh my God. No, it's not.
It's the fact.
Oh my God.
You don't like facts. I mean,
okay. Listen. What we should not do. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but what I feel that we should not do is wish upon a star and make believe.
Y'all just really think
bro. Just let me finish speaking. Okay, we shouldn't like pull information out of our ass, right, and pretend, because that shit is not fun. It is not beneficial at all for information. Like, it's just not. Like, this is like common knowledge. Everything that Marshall just said. Like, we know
What's
this.
common knowledge, dude? What is it?
Oh my God.
Common knowledge
Everything
is...
Your fucking ass don't have common knowledge, bro.
I'm still talking.
I don't care. You don't make sense. You don't make sense, dude. And everybody think
I don't make sense.
No, exactly. No, not at all.
Bruce.
Okay.
But you know what? This is where America's going. This is why I don't get in politics. This is where America's going. This is why I'm going to do my own shit, and I'm gonna have my own fucking thing, and fuck all you motherfuckers in that damn.
I'm wishing on a star.
Listen, when shit
with that. He's not trying to hear it.
When shit goes down, that's gonna be on y'all.
Come on, Bruce.
He is wishing on a dream.
He's kind of shitty down here.
I already got people that's with me and investors, dude. Because when shit goes down, y'all ignorant motherfuckers just think.
Bruce sounds sober today. Hey, Christy.
Y'all fucking think this shit's gonna be, cool.
Better tell him, Uncle Bruce.
It's gonna be.
He's on his Trump shit right now.
He's gonna go mom in a minute.
All right.
He already mobbed up.
I'm about to get 300 acres, and y'all gonna be on y'all.
I'm coming to live with you. What you doing?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're the only one with acreage.
Well, good. Get your own acreage and make your own motherfucking goddamn American nigga. Because y'all the fucking dumbest. Nigga, y'all the dumbest ass motherfuckers that I ever known that fucking think like. You're going to another country. Oh my God, you're going to another fucking country and bombing them motherfuckers. It's like you're damn.
You're talking about
you're not protecting these motherfuckers. And you know what? And these motherfuckers are killing these people, dude. Hey, you know what? Hey, it's good. I'll come in here trying to the whole fucking thing is I'm about to get 300 acres. I'm gonna block that shit off. I'm gonna block that shit off. And you motherfuckers are gonna be like the I'm gonna be like the white rednecks. I'm gonna be like the white rednecks.
Yo, can we let her play let Betty play the video?
So here we are.
Good time.
What I'm enraged by is a presidency and Joe Biden who for 3 years did nothing to end the killing. What I'm actually excited about right now is that we have a president who's engaging in energetic diplomacy to try to stop the killing. That's as it should be. I think the American people should be proud of it. And whatever the outcome of this, whether the war ends in 3 months or 6 months or hopefully not beyond, but maybe, we should be proud that we have a president who's trying to stop the killing. He's done it, by the way, 6 wars that the president has brought to a close all over the world. This would be the 7th. It's the most complicated, but we're trying despite that.
I had the opportunity to interview Secretary Rubio last week, and he said he actually doesn't think that new sanctions would force Putin into a ceasefire. Are sanctions now off the table, Mr. Vice President?
The sanctions aren't off the table, but we're going to make these determinations on a case-by-case basis. What do we think is actually going to exert the right kind of leverage to bring the Russians to the table? Now, you said sanctions were not going to lead to a ceasefire. I think that's obviously correct. If you look at the way the Russians have conducted themselves, they don't want a ceasefire. They don't want a ceasefire for complicated reasons. We, of course, have pushed for a ceasefire, but again, we don't control what Russia does. If we did, the war would have been over 7 months ago. What we do believe, though, is that we continue to have a lot of cards. The President of the United States has a lot of cards left to play to apply pressure to try to bring this conflict to a close, and that's what we're going to do.
You take me to my next question. Where exactly is the pressure on Russia to do anything if you're not right now imposing new sanctions? How do you get them to a place of getting to the table with Zelensky and stopping to drop bombs?
Well, Kristen, I think that question betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of where we are. The president has applied aggressive economic leverage, for example, the secondary tariffs on India, to try to make it harder for the Russians to get rich from their oil economy. He's tried to make it clear that Russia can be reinvited into the world economy if they stop the killing, but they're going to continue to be isolated if they don't stop the killing. The president has applied more economic pressure to the Russians to stop this war than Biden did in 3 years. And so the idea that we're not doing anything, we're already doing things right now, and this is how negotiation works. You do something, you talk to the parties, you try to see if there's a meeting of minds. Again, we believe we've already seen some significant concessions from both sides just in the last few weeks. We're going to eventually be whole, or we'll hit a brick wall. And if we hit a brick wall, then we're going to continue this process of negotiation, of applying leverage. This is the internet.
Okay. I hear what you're saying about India. China is actually the largest buyer of Russian oil.
They're close. They're about equal.
Why no sanctions on China?
Well, obviously, we have a 54% tariff on the PRC right now. So we've already applied pretty hefty sanctions on the Chinese. And we've had a number of conversations at all levels of government to try to encourage the Chinese to be better partners in bringing this war to a close. So again, I think the question betrays a misunderstanding of what's going on. We are applying aggressive economic pressure to bring this war to a close. Maybe we'll apply additional pressure. Maybe if we feel like we're making progress, we'll dial that pressure back. That give and take is part of the negotiation that we think is working.
Shut up.
Keep on working on this process for as long as we can.
Just to boil down what the Russian concessions might look like, is the only thing that President Trump is asking Russia to give up is not being a woman. It's a lot. Needing to be everything to everyone. Having 100 moods over the course of 1 month. Learning to love to invade all of Ukraine.
No, that's not it at all. It's providing the Ukrainians the kind of security guarantees that ensures that the country is not going to be invaded again. And this is really, this is why I think we've made a lot of progress, Kristen. Even though we're not yet there, why we've made a lot of progress is fundamentally the disagreement here is over security guarantees versus where you draw the battle lines in Ukraine. So whether we solve those issues, we've actually identified the 2 critical issues, one to the Ukrainians, one to the Russians, and I think that that is where the fruit, if we ultimately solve this thing, that's where the fruit of an agreement will come.
I want to get to security guarantees, but very quickly, if Russia is allowed to keep any of the territory that it illegally seized, what message does that send to China? Does it give China a green light to invade Taiwan? Does it give Russia a green light to invade other European countries, which is what your European allies are concerned about?
Well, first of all, the Ukrainians are going to ultimately make the determination about where you draw the territorial lines in their own country. But Kristen, this is how wars ultimately get settled. If you go back to World War II, if you go back to World War I, if you go back to every major conflict in human history, they all end with some kind of negotiation. We're actually not active parties in the negotiation. We're effectively mediating. We're trying to mediate the Ukrainians and the Russians to come to some agreement. If the Ukrainians are willing to say something on territory that brings the conflict to the close, we're not going to stop them. We're also not going to force them because it's not our country. We're trying to play a constructive role. The president is trying to play a constructive role to bring peace to the region, but he's not going to force these parties. All he can do is open the door and ask them to negotiate in good faith.
You talk about security guarantees. Foreign Minister Lavrov discussed the importance of Russia being a part of security guarantees. Ukraine says that's a non-starter. Is that a non-starter for the United States as well? How can Russia secure Ukraine when it's dropping bombs on
There's
Ukraine?
a little bit of a talking past each other here. First of all, we're not talking about security guarantees until after the war has come to a close. And of course, the Russians are going to be a part of the conversation about bringing that war to a close. So, of course, they're going to have some stake in this. They're going to talk about this. That doesn't mean that they're going to have troops in Ukrainian territory, but how can you reasonably provide security guarantees without talking to the Russians about what would be necessary to bring the war to a close? So I think there's a little bit of people talking past each other. This is going to be a security guarantee provided by a host of nations. I think the Europeans are going to play a big role. I think there are other countries all over the world that might play a big role. The Russians are going to be involved because they're the critical party that's necessary to stop killing. Again, this is how negotiations happen.
Not at all.
Conversation between both sides.
It's a waste of
Jesus run his mouth.
Can you guarantee no U.S. boots on the ground as a part of these security
The
guarantees?
presidents are very clear. There are not going to be boots on the ground in Ukraine, but we are going to continue to play an active role in trying to ensure that the Ukrainians...
What the hell's boots on the ground in Ukraine now?
They need to stop the war on their end. And the Russians feel like they can bring the war to a conclusion on their end. It's complicated, Kristen, but we're going to keep on trying to play these parties.
Yo, what the fuck's wrong with y'all? Y'all should go on and say,
Shut up, see.
Bruce and C should go on and say,
The only way to get this thing wrapped up.
All right, let's talk about some domestic issues now. This week you were in Georgia. You were there to talk about and promote the One Big Beautiful Bill. And it also caught...
let me put it on pause real quick because we're almost at 14 minutes. That was 7 minutes.
I mean, come on, man. He just said. Come on, man.
I don't understand. Let me go. I don't understand what security.
Russia and China. We're gonna die.
Trump gave Putin a blowjob. Okay? I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what happened in the car. That's what happened in the last
Are y'all okay?
There's no seat. You should wait also a private room with Bruce. He's gonna take you out on a date.
We're gonna die, dude.
Okay, we heard you, bro.
speaking.
Oh my God! Y'all really shut up! Oh my God!
What the fuck is wrong with you, crackhead? Shut the fuck up!
So we're saying security guarantees. So what is security guarantees if we're not going to have boots on the ground? I'm so fucking confused, right? They already gave them security assurances during the Budapest memo back in the 90s. Ukraine is not going to trust a fucking security guarantee from the United Nations when Russia has vetoed.
Not at all.
Like, this shit is fucking crazy. I don't know.
Not at all.
The country's not stupid. And I know that our European allies.
Shit on Trump. Putin has shit on Trump.
Does anybody okay, so Notorious, welcome to the stage, Sandra, Dark, Jeremy. Do one of y'all, or Jeremy, do one of you three want to say something since y'all just got up here?
It's incredible when your own vice president does not know apparently what a security guarantee is. The idea that the aggressor in a war should be in some way guaranteeing the security of the country which it aggressed upon flies in the face of logic. I'm not sure if J.D. Vance is uneducated or
Very educated.
willfully or willfully trying to mislead people about this.
They're all trying to mislead ignorant Americans that don't understand.
Put your phone down.
Thank you.
Sit in the corner. Sit in the corner.
This is ultimately an embarrassment. To Patty's point, Ukraine has had security guarantees before from the United States and others. Europe is now pulling more of its own weight there. At the end of the day, though, and I'll end with this, any surrender of land, any kilometer, inch, whatever metric system we want to use, surrender of land to Russia from Ukraine will be a capitulation and will be rewarded the kind of belligerence which further destabilizes the global order. This gives any country the ability to say, well, if we just persecute an asymmetric war against another country that's generally weaker than ours, and if we do it for long enough, then we will be rewarded. This will give Rwanda carte blanche to go and take land from the DRC. Yeah, and I said that because Trump is pretending like he goes and made a lasting peace over there, right? This will give Israel the same kind of thing. They're already getting that idea because, Netanyahu's going and putting, basically going and doing the persecuting the genocide even worse there with the forced removal of people, right? This will give Russia. Why doesn't Russia just go and invade Poland? Why not?
Everyone's going to hate America as they already are starting.
Why doesn't Russia just go and invade Georgia, the country of Georgia? Why don't they just do that? They've tried before. Right? Again, correct, right? Yeah, tried before. That's what this is going to be. This will be viewed in history as a giant capitulation to bullies and ultimately making the entire world less safe. Not just
making agreements behind that we don't know about in cars where Trump's giving Putin a blowjob and saying, I'll make this happen. You can take some of Ukraine. We'll let China take some of Taiwan. We'll try to take over, certain areas of Greenland. That's the thing is being an aggressor. That's where it's at. And these are hidden discussions because we are becoming. This is what is going on behind closed doors within cars where Trump is giving Putin a blowjob. It's not acceptable. People are dying. Kids are dying literally, and we're still allowing this to happen. And we've spent a lot of money on this war, and we don't want it to happen. No one does, and we're just letting this happen. And it's not acceptable. It's disgusting. And J.D. Vance just goes in. He did not say a goddamn thing during that whole conversation that had any truth or meaning.
Okay, so basically, there's like two things I wanted to say, but I'll say one. In that interview, they talked about sanctions and things like that. It will not work as a deterrent to ending this war and everything like that. But then he said they want to use sanctions, and it might be proxy of India and China. Like he literally just said the very opposite thing that he said like a second before when she first asked the question. I think that's amazing, and it shows that how there's no confidence in this administration at all. Like it's ridiculous.
Did you hear the first part of the conversation? The first part of the interview, and I don't think I heard it, but the first part was when she started asking questions. She said that Elon. I was completely shocked by this. Was that Elon Musk is not gonna actually start his own party. Now he's decided that he's actually gonna endorse JD fucking Vance, the biggest gold digger, to be president for 2028. That was her first question that she asked this morning, and I was just like, holy shit, really?
Holy shit moment. That's terrible.
Why are you guys acting surprised that he would? You guys heard about the PayPal mafia? Musk and Peter Thiel are buddies.
Right.
Yeah,
So we always knew that was going to happen.
Elon
Trump was the puppet to get some of these executive orders started, right? He's gonna do a bunch of dumb shit. He's gonna they're gonna find a way to get him out of office, or this is just his last term. And JD Vance is the guy that's gonna be the smart guy that's gonna take some of those executive orders that's been made into legislation, and he's gonna run this shit.
Yeah. He's there.
You guys think Peter Phil took JD Vance out of law school, always gave him a job, took care of him for all those years, funded his campaign, funded his book launch, to just get nothing out of it?
How many vice presidents actually have become presidents? There's Biden, which actually because of COVID, that's how Biden became. I mean, how many other they don't typically become like presidents at all. And JD Vance
is assassinations.
3 in the last 50 years.
George Bush was the
60 years. 3 in the last 60 years. Sorry.
Hey, have you all seen the size of them ankles? Trump might die any day now, according to Alex.
They
might be the ones trying to kill him.
Well, no, his hands too. I mean, just the way he's talking. He said he ended 7 wars, and then he claimed that he ended 10 the other day. I mean, it's hard to keep up with what the bullshit that's coming out of his mouth. I mean, really, all of them are just talking bullshit. JD Vance didn't say one concrete thing that was honestly straight and narrow as to how they're going to proceed moving forward with this fucking war against Ukraine and Russia. I mean, but they didn't even discuss Gaza. And it's just a complete disgrace. And I think they've actually made agreements behind the closed doors, that perhaps maybe Russia could take over some of, and this is what I said 8 months ago, Russia can take over some of Ukraine, China can take over some time, and then America. So they're looking at this authoritarian world of perhaps 3 leaders, that's the weird thing that's going on.
China's not in cahoots with Trump. I hate to tell you that.
Well, no, China's much more advanced than we are. And anyone to say that we are not the leading power, that China has surpassed us, and every month that this continues to go on, we're just giving another present to China. I mean, that's a fact. And it has been, and they're laughing at Trump. They're laughing at America.
But you just said they were in cahoots, so are they laughing?
Now we have the White House publicly on TikTok. The White House.
Please be quiet.
The White House TikTok. Did you see the White House TikTok? I got TikTok.
So, C, thank you for your submission. We're gonna let someone else speak.
Okay.
Thank you, babe. Anybody else want to say anything before I play the last 7 minutes? All right, let's go ahead and finish this damn interview.
So in the same week, the Texas Republicans approved 5 new Republican seats. So they expanded the map for Republicans in their state. If President Trump's agenda is so popular, why do Republicans need to add additional seats to the map?
Well, first of all, Krista, you have to ask yourself, why have Democrats gerrymandered their states aggressively over the past 10 to 20 years? If you look, for example, at the popular vote in a lot of these states, in Massachusetts, where 32% of the residents of Massachusetts voted for Republicans, 0 Republican federal representatives. So we're not trying to all we're doing, frankly, is trying to make the situation a little bit more fair on a national scale. The Democrats have gerrymandered their states really aggressively. We think there are opportunities to push back against that, and that's really all we're doing.
And yet, Mr. Vice President, you were able to win the House and the Senate in 2024. Why can't you do it again without adding additional seats?
But this is a very important question, Kristen. We had way fewer House seats than we should have. 1, if the Democrats hadn't aggressively gerrymandered, and 2, if illegal aliens weren't counted in the census for purposes of apportioning congressional seats. The best estimates I've seen is that in California, for example, has 5 additional congressional seats that it should have, because they count illegal aliens for the purpose of apportioning representatives. Meanwhile, Ohio, my home state, lost a representative. We're literally losing representatives for American citizens in order to give congressional representation to illegal aliens. Republicans are trying to balance out the scales a little bit for basic fairness and for the integrity of our democracy, which the president cares about as much as anybody in the country.
But of course, people who are here and who are not documented are not eligible to vote. But
they're not eligible to vote, but they do go in the congressional apportionment. That's why California.
Let me put this on pause for a minute, okay? So when he's talking about gerrymandered, I just looked up the stats, right? So Democrats during the mid 20th century, they were gerrymandering, okay? And then Republicans, starting in the 1990s under Reagan, they have started to gerrymandered. So, like, and you guys got to remember what their agenda was as Democrats back then, prior to Lyndon B. Johnson, a little bit over before FDR with the New Deal. A lot of those were the Democrats or Dixiecrats, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves. So, like, this is a fucking false narrative. Like, this is crazy. Like, if you look at what happened in North Carolina, what Republicans did in Wisconsin, Texas, obviously, and then even in Ohio.
North Carolina.
Yeah, I said North Carolina. And Mississippi. Remember when they tried it in Mississippi and they were like, oh, this is racial. So they had to go back. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and press play again.
So many more seats is because they count illegal aliens. So even though they don't vote, well, some of them actually do vote, but hopefully most of them don't, they end up getting congressional representation that ought by right go to American citizens.
I know we're almost out of time, so two more quick ones. The administration deployed the National Guard to D.C. to crack down on crime. You visited with them this week. At least 6 Republican states are sending in their own National Guard troops as reinforcement. But many of these states have cities that actually have crime rates that are worse than Washington, D.C. So why aren't these states sending National Guard troops into their own states to deal with the crime issue?
Well, look,
and is that a possibility?
Well, look, if the local governors want to make that determination, we'll leave it up to the local governors. But what we have control over is the nation's capital. And if you look, for example, at the murder rate in D.C., it rivals some of the worst cities, the most violent cities anywhere in the world. That's a disgrace for our nation. That's a disgrace for the residents who live in D.C. who just want to take their kids to a park or walk down Union Station or take their family out for a bite to eat without being accosted by a vagrant or a violent criminal. They should have that right.
Though, in the nation's capital.
Crime has dropped over 35% in the nation's capital in 10 days because of what Donald J. Trump has done.
Accomplished?
I think that there's so much more that we could do. Absolutely not. It's not mission accomplished. When you make such big progress in a matter of a week and a half, I think that you step on the gas and try to make DC even more safe. And here's the thing, Kristen, we don't have to live like this. My message to my fellow citizens here in DC or all across the country would be that allowing vagrants and armed robberies to take over your city, that's a policy choice. What President Trump is showing is that if you just empower local law enforcement to arrest and prosecute the bad guys, we can take back American streets. You, as a young family, whatever the color of your skin, you should not have to cross the street because there's a crazy person yelling at your children on the other side. You should not be worried that if you take your son out for a meal at 8 o'clock in the evening, an armed robber is going to assault your family. This is a policy choice to allow lawlessness to overrun our cities. The president has made a different policy choice. And I think what he's showing the entire American community is that we don't have to live like this. And that's the biggest thing that will come out of DC. It matters a lot for DC, but I think it matters more for the whole country to see that if we just make better choices, we can take back our cities.
I'm getting a wrap, so final question for you, Mr. Vice President. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Elon Musk is halting his plans to create a new political party, in part because he wants to support you for president in 2028. I know you've been asked about this. You said you have not discussed this with him.
That's right.
But do you see yourself as the apparent future of the MAGA movement?
No, I see myself as a vice president who's trying to do a good job for the American people, Kristen. And if I do a good job, and if the president continues to be successful, as I know that he will be, the politics will take care of itself. We can cross that bridge when we come to it. But we just had an election 7 months ago. I think I'm probably like most Americans, and I'm already sick of talking about politics after a big general election. The next election that matters not the election of 2028, it's 2026. So before we talk about anything 3.5 years down the road, let's take a break from politics, focus on governing the country, and when we return to politics, it's going to be to focus on those midterm elections.
Have you had any conversations with President Trump about him passing the torch on to you?
As you know, the president talks about everything, and if it's in the news, the president and I have certainly discussed it, but I think the president is just focused on doing a good job for the American people. He wants me to be focused on doing a good job for the American people. That's what I'll keep on doing. And again, if we take care of business, if America is safer, if it's more prosperous, if young people can afford to buy a home, if we actually bring peace to all these regions of the world, which we've made great progress in doing, the politics will take care of itself.
Well, I want to respect your time, so thank you very much, Mr. Vice President.
Good to see you.
Really appreciate it. Great to see you as well. Thank you.
Okay.
That nigga lying.
All right. So, also in the article, it's talking about redistricting dominance. So the ARP's redistricting control map. The Republicans have done the most redistricting. They've done it in 21 states: Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia. They have. I put that in the top. That's in the and that's coming from the Brennan Center for Justice. They also have the case examples in there. So yeah, heavily gerrymandered states is Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Utah, Kentucky, Arkansas, Louisiana, West Virginia. Large Democratic states where they're talking about outsized representation. So they're talking about like the population of certain areas may have more congressional delegations is Illinois, which makes sense because you got a heavily populated city like Chicago, New York, which has New York City, California, and New Jersey. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, everything you just said about the states and the populations, that's pretty obvious. We all know it. Not only that, but when you do the math in general, when it comes to not only just representatives, but of course senators, it don't math. They don't math out, meaning that these particular areas, right, have more representation per person. And I think it was a representative in Texas who broke it down just for the redrawn maps in Texas. He talked about how white people have like about 44,000 white people will have representatives, and then the number goes up for Hispanic people, then it goes up even more for Black people. So meaning that people who are Hispanic, they have about I'm sorry if I'm not getting this right, but it's like broken down as a third of Spanish people have one representative compared to one white person, and then a fifth of Black people have a representative compared to white people in that state when they redraw the maps. And when you look across the country, that goes, in every Republican state, it's the same fucking thing. So they just made it worse, and they're ready to make it even crazier with Donald Trump asking them to do it. So this is what we're gonna have, more gerrymandering.
So Wallace asked a question in the chat. He said, do Republicans redistrict prematurely? So yeah, if you read that article, they talk about how they redistrict in their track record, right? So they do, let me see what it says. And it actually says that Republicans have pursued mid-decade redistricting, redrawing maps before the next census cycle. What they've been doing is they've been using the court rulings to open the door to have more favorable maps, even if the old ones could have just simply been adjusted. And they have loopholes in their state constitutions. So a lot of the red states don't explicitly forbid drawing maps more than once a decade. So unless the court stops them, this is illegal. So they've been doing it.
Does somebody look? I actually should Google it, but if somebody already knows, I saw a posting. You know, postings are what they are. They could be factual or not. Where prisoners are counted, in the area of their prison, right? So basically, when you're pulling somebody from, like, let's say a black person from a major city or a group of black people from a major city, you put them in a prison, which is primarily in like these rural areas of the states, right? Which is predominantly white, right? Those individuals are now counted in that area, according to this posting I saw, because I don't know this to be factual or not. And so now it makes that area have more people because of the prisoners, as well as the people who actually live there, pulling out the population numbers from the area where they're from, where they were first detained, prosecuted, whatever, before being sent to prison. Does anyone know that to be true?
They're gonna the next step, I believe, is that they're gonna try to actually demand that the census needs to be redone. I believe that that's probably the next action that this administration is going to take. As they've deported, I think they're taking a huge gamble, because even based on the deportations, I don't think that it's still going to win them. But I do believe, and I see that that's going to actually happen, is they're going to actually, after the gerrymanderings as it's going on, I think they're going to demand that, a new census needs to be actually designed to actually recalculate, where people actually get counted for Congress. So it's a really I'm pretty much like 95% confident that's where they're going. So you have that's a very poignant question, and as the deportations go, it's part of the process, it's part of the strategy, it's part of the goal, it's the next step. I believe that's going to happen. And I think it's a big gamble on their part, because just because if you deport immigrants, that still doesn't mean that people are going to vote for Republicans, especially, they have their the people that are gardening, taking care of their homes, they're not, this is, kind of, it's atrocious behavior. So the reality is, they're taking a gamble. It's a big gamble. It's also a gamble on our economy. And it's affecting everyone, and we don't like to see all this, but Chicago's gonna be next. Clearly they're gonna be putting National Guard in cities, and it's gonna come to Oakland. This is just the start of the next step in the phase of Project 2020.
Anyway, did y'all hear about the Westmore, like his interaction with Westmore?
Yeah.
Did y'all talk about that? Okay.
No, I didn't hear that.
Westmore, hold on. I'm gonna tell you what he said.
Oh yeah, he went in.
Westmore had told him, damn, I just lost it. Hold on real quick, y'all.
But you gotta add nigga in front of it when you say it. Come on.
No.
You can play something. I'll find it and I'll read it on the next time if you want to go back to playing it.
Oh, I'm done with the plan. But
okay.
So I do have something that I found in Texas Tribune. It says, or Houston Tribune. It says Texas has 38 seats in the U.S. House. 1 in 10 House seats come from Texas. Texas Republicans has used redistricting to pack Democratic voters into few districts. In 2022, Democrats won 46% of statewide House vote, but only have 13 out of 38 seats. And without the gerrymandering, they would have likely held closer 17 to 18. So this is an impact on what national control looks like, especially with 38 seats in that.
I found it.
But go ahead.
So he said, Westmore wrote this letter to Trump. He said, POTUS, I heard Baltimore was on your mind. We wanted to send you a formal invitation to join. Mayor B.M. Scott, Baltimore SA, whoever that is, our local elected law enforcement and community for a public safety walk next month, whatever day works best for you. We hope you will come see how we build strong local partnerships
partnerships and use data-backed solutions to deliver staggering drops in violent crime. And Big Fat Funky replied, Governor Westmore of Maryland asked me in a rather nasty and provocative tone that I walk the streets of Maryland with him. I assume he's talking about the out-of-control, crime-ridden Baltimore. As president, I would much prefer that he clean up his crime disaster before I go in there for a walk. Westmore's record on crime is a very bad one unless he fudges his figures on crime like many of the other blue states are doing. But if Westmore needs help like Gavin Newsom did in LA, I will send in the troops, which is being done in nearby DC, and quickly, he cannot even type, quickly clean up in the crime. After only 1 week, there is no crime, no murder in DC. When it is like that in Baltimore, I will proudly walk the streets with the failing because of crime. I don't really understand. Because of crime, Governor of Maryland, P.S. Baltimore is ranked 4th worst city in the nation in crime and murder. And then he said, stop talking and get to work, Wes. Then I'll see you on the streets. Also, I gave Westmore a lot of money to fix his demolished bridge. I will now have to rethink that decision. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again, President DJT. Fuck. I don't want to say like nothing real bad about him on a recorded line, but there has never been a stronger hate in my body for a human. And that also makes me want Westmore to be my president even more. Everything is nasty and like he thinks he lives in Knots Landing. Like everything, he's like such a bitch in a very nasty and provocative tone. Like, you are 150 years old and orange, and that hurt your feelings?
He's losing his mind. He's an asshole. And he's a son of a bitch. Now, the problem is, who's going to be the bigger son of a bitch that's actually going to compete against this whole party? That's the problem. Who's going to be able to stump, like, go so low and be so fierce? Because these are just the early on tactics that we're seeing. They have much detailed for their plan. This is just the beginning. So that's the question, is who's going to actually be fierce enough, strong enough, and the biggest son of a bitch that can go lower in terms of being able to actually fight fucking strong and move forward. And I don't see it, but I believe that someone will rise. Someone has to. Because it has to. Or this is our world's gonna, I mean, when you have Putin and Trump sitting in a car together, Putin and, Trump is sitting in a tree, I mean, with nothing that happened. Nothing. Kids were killed the night before. A family was killed. That is inexcusable. Like, our American democracy, there was a beautiful family that was killed literally the night before by Russia, and he's sitting in a car with Putin, sitting in a tree. Nothing came out of it. That's not the way we run. That's not the way we've operated. That is not who we are, and it's unacceptable.
Okay. KISSING. First came love, next came marriage. Yeah. So, like, this is weird. Like, Democrats won 46% of the statewide House votes in Texas, but only have 13 of 38 seats. That's fucking crazy. 30-something% of the seats, but 50% of statewide House votes. That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. And then they're trying to swing 5 more seats in Republicans' favor.
There are probably more Democrats there now, right? With all the jobs they have opening up, people in.
What?
I was saying it's possible that the Democratic popular vote could have increased with all the jobs that they've opened up.
What stays in Texas? What happens in Texas stays in Texas.
Doesn't mean representation makes sense.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. I was just saying.
What happens in Texas stays in Texas, and they're coming back to California. That's back to California. They're not gonna. This is unacceptable. I mean, what Patty just said was that unacceptable.
Yeah, I get it. But then, you know, like even in New York State. So when I gave the example of New York State, I think it was California was one of them. I have to go back to the article, but when they're talking about population and what representation looks like for certain states. So yeah, obviously because the population is heavy in New York City versus the rural areas, it's more representation in those cities. So like, it's just really sad how Texas has moved, how North Carolina tried to move, has moved, how Mississippi tried to move, how freaking Ohio has moved. Like, and then they're talking about, when reading that article, looking at when Democrats were heavily gerrymandering, they were heavily gerrymandering as Dixiecrats. So this is a Republican thing. Now, Democrats have done it. Maryland's done it before, so we're not going to play stupid, but Maryland has done it. And I mean, look, I gotta look up the Democratic states that have done it, but they said 21 out of all 50 states, which are all red states that I read off, have been really heavily gerrymandering in the last 30 years. So
that's the only way they win elections. Cheap.
That's the only way they get legislation through. It's crazy work.
Okay. So question though. So the next question is, how can he actually justify if this administration thinks that the numbers need to be recalculated from the census? How can he go about that? Because I believe that's the next step, is that they're going to ask to have another census done, which is only done every 10 years. So I believe that's, so how would he go about, because of the deportation. So they're going to have to actually, so I believe that's
so Patty,
part of the plan.
Only New York, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, Maryland, Illinois, looks like Massachusetts, and is that Rhode Island, I think. Those are the only states that have been gerrymandered by Democrats. But gerrymandering is just one thing. Versus. I'm not done talking, yo. Would you shut up?
Just breathe, baby, breathe.
Shit. So there is Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio, Missouri. Did I say Texas, Oklahoma, and Florida, and it's more Vermont. All of these cities have been heavily gerrymandered by Republicans, and then there's some that did it under under independent control. California, Arizona, and like Washington, they did it under independent, and Virginia too. They did it under independent control, and then the rest is like bipartisan. Louisiana is the only state in the South that did it under bipartisan control. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of states that we could do. The Democrats. Virginia is a good one.
Virginia only gives us maybe 1 or 2 seats. New York is 1 or 2 seats. I think Jersey will be an additional seat. It's like not that many seats.
It's not actually. It's more.
But
it's more of a
if you do, California alone is done by independents. But if you do like Georgia,
but we wouldn't be able to do Georgia with. Georgia's, you have to, I don't think we'd be able to do Georgia.
But can't you do parts of it?
No.
Or it has to be like the whole.
Every state has different regulations. Like, for example, in New York, they won't be able to do it till after 2026. So if they want to move forward with that, they might be able to gain something before 2028.
If these fucking blue states have these goody two-shoe shit in their fucking constitution, and I guess it's just to block anybody that comes along that's a Trumper or some type of fucking crazy motherfucker that just wants to like make up rules along the way. Like I get it, it's great, but it's like really hard for them to fucking redo their maps. Because they're democracy, and they created legislation. Exactly, it's kind of like they fuck themselves. I feel the pain. I mean, I understand that. That's what nice people do, you know. The thing is, that's what people do when they want people represented. Is they actually set up legislation. So New York won't even be able to get another seat until after 2026. Right.
If we get a Democratic governor for this next time, which I do think is a very likely possibility for Georgia. You don't think Georgia is? I definitely do.
Georgia?
Yeah.
No.
I do.
It's too much rule. Dude, I was driving down, what is that highway that takes you towards Savannah? Was going to Tybee Island from Atlanta. Well, anyway, I was driving on that highway. Dude, y'all got a big ass compound for fucking white supremacists. Like the sign is big as fuck. And it's like white national. Like, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this, yo?
Well, look at the voting map. It's all like when you look at how the demographics of the city, it's almost tied. If it's district right, the Democrats can definitely beat the Republicans in Georgia.
Yeah, but you're gonna need a Democrat to run this state.
Yeah, and I think we can get one. I definitely think we can get one. Especially with, and we don't have what's his name? That he's not running again. It's definitely up for grabs now. If Old Boy was running again, or he could run again, then I would say no. But we don't have nobody. There's not even they don't even have a good old boy in place that like to. And then they got the one Democrat dude. He talking about removing state tax. He's definitely gonna get some votes.
All I can say is if we don't get the game on, every one of us is probably going to turn to be a Republican because it's going to be a fascist communist state, and you're going to have to be because you'll be terrorized if you're not. I mean, that's kind of what it's coming to. I mean, I'm being frank, like, and honest. I'm not joking, because the thing is, that is reality. So if we can't figure this out, if we can't, the thing is, when you look what Patty's saying is that California can actually maybe keep it even keel with Texas, but then Republican Party, they will get, in other states, I think they will be able to get an upper hand to keep Congress. And that's the whole problem. So that's the game changer. Unless we get more people to speaking about this, you know, putting their names out there. Patty, you should run. Like, everyone, like, you know, run for, I mean, why the fuck not? People need to run, speak up, and get things to change within demographics and make sure that people understand, you know, that this is changing. This will change the United States of America forever.
They got Burt Jones and Chris Carr. On the Democratic side, they got Michael Thurman, Derek Jackson, Olu Brown, Keisha Lance Bottoms, Jason Estevez. I think two of them have a great chance. Them white boys don't like Burt Jones.
And what's the most recognizable name that a lot of people have beef with when it comes to the Democratic Party that's on that call that you placed together? Let's make it make sense.
Who, in Georgia?
Yeah, in Georgia.
What'd you say?
Who's the most because you know, people, when they vote, and I'm just learning this shit, fucking listening to a lot of people in these damn clubhouse rooms. When they vote on some bullshit. They not.
You went in the Matrix.
I think she was asking about what the points of, because I think it's important for everyone to be educated about different people that might be running. So it's important because we only have so much time on our hands. So if you could speak a little bit about the parties, I think that would be helpful.
Betty, are you there?
No.
When they know we all came up different.
You broke up. You went out all that. We ain't got none of that.
Looking at the names that you came up with, right? Who do you think is going to be, who's the most name recognized on there? That people would actually say, oh, I know her. Or him.
Oh, who I think is the most recognized person on there? Probably Thurman.
Okay, Thurman and Keisha, right?
Yeah, but she out. She not getting nowhere. That's why I don't splash.
Right. And even with Thurman, he has little issues here and there in the state of Georgia, right?
But he's the state commissioner, and the people like him. Right. And you gotta the Burt Jones people, whoever that dude, they don't like him. The white people don't like him, and the car dude, they don't like him. So, but it doesn't even matter. White people don't really run this state like that. Y'all gonna see. Especially with the size that Atlanta is now.
You, bro. I'm gonna pray with you, because you know I'm now a Georgia fucking voter, so I'm with you. We can go vote together. We can hold hands, walk right up into the damn voting. Sure.
This is the first year they haven't had, like, they always have one of their good old boys that people in the state, like Brian Kemp, the other boy, he was one of their good, they don't really have that now. And a lot of people, like statewide, like Thurman, and they like I think they like Derek Jackson too. I gotta look into him more, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, he like a military veteran, and he got a lot of like different things in the community. I just don't think that white boy, that Georgia loved Brian Kemp, and he's not replaceable by. I don't think you could just replace him with just some other random white boy. I don't know if Georgia's gonna go for that, but we'll see. I definitely think it's a chance though. Y'all ready to get on Team Westmore? Y'all better get on. Don't get on the day of.
I can get on.
You getting on First Lady? You down with it?
It's a possibility.
I'm down with it. I'm not sure I'm talking about the same thing you talking about. AC, I know everybody on stage today has told you to zip your lips.
Hey, you go zip your lips.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad you did that. Have a great trip.
She's doing it. Wait, but you think that he would be a decent you could fuck with him as a president? Would you vote for him? Like in a primary?
How about that? I thought you were
She wasn't talking about on him. She wasn't talking about the same on you talking about.
Oh my God. Well then he better be good enough to be your president. Who you want president first?
No, I ain't gonna.
I want to be the goddamn president, because all these men.
I'm definitely not voting for you.
What you mean?
We'll be in a deficit like hell.
Deficit? What's wrong with you, sir?
Getting your feet done.
You not operate in deficit.
You supposed to be in a meeting with Putin and you getting your feet done.
No, that's Patty. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, let us know which liquor companies to invest in before you become president.
Okay. Liquor company.
Do some insider trading.
Jeremy, have you changed up? What's going on? Let me look at this, Jeremy. Jeremy, you know, I don't know what's going on, Jeremy. What's happening? Why y'all ain't vote? Why is Patty and I the only two that voted?
Do we have another non-vote? Oh, I thought you said real life. I didn't know we had a vote on top. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jeremy, what's going on?
I thought you said somebody else.
I didn't even know there was a vote on the top.
Yeah, First Lady, I think you would be a terrible president.
I think you're nasty, son. That's what I think.
Now listen here, y'all.
I think you're nasty, sir.
Like Janet Jackson.
I didn't want to really meet with Putin, so I went and got a crab cake. And now I'm sitting here talking to y'all. What's going on, America?
This is lies.
No. You're gonna be like,
I got my tattoo just right.
Yeah, okay.
I'm down with you, Indian.
Yes.
Almost done.
This is nasty work. I don't know.
Not the president is on live again.
Chuck does it all the time.
She's doing the boots on the ground remix. Baby, they done put Fantasia on the boots on the ground remix.
Could you imagine who she'd have playing at her inauguration?
Oh my God.
NAS. That's a LIE. That's a
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan, nothing. No. All day. Y'all got my playlist all fucked up.
And Patty Label.
Patty LaBelle, she can come. Yeah, she can sing. She can sing us a song, but I want Adele. Adele is #1.
See, that's why I want you told me that.
What's wrong with Adele?
Because I just told you 2 black queens, and you said a big fat white lady.
And then he said fat. She not fat no more.
She was. She sang good music. Y'all, Adele sound like she sang "Lions to Sleep." I just do not understand black people's obsession with that lady. She can't even sing that good to me.
I'm not going to have this conversation with you.
Ooh, I mean, she just make you want to just end it all.
We could have had it all. Rolling in the deep. I have a doubt if Beyonce spin-off. It's gonna be a single. What?
Well, Adele can go ahead and sign up to get washed right now.
That's the only white lady I listen to. Y'all better stop.
Hello?
What, like, do y'all be trying to, like...
Back in the day, Celine Dion.
Do y'all be depressed when y'all listen to her? Like, what prompts you to listen to Adele?
I was definitely going through it at that time.
Listen, I can listen to Adele.
Just.
Yeah, you got
to be.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
it got me through. It got me. That wasn't the only album that got me through it. It was a few albums.
This is nasty work. But no,
I
think
album.
For depression, Keisha Cole is...
Keisha Cole album.
The